There we are. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Krisha Olson. I'm here guiding you through the Everyday Health Challenge, and you've made it all the way to day 5. Congratulations. That's pretty big deal right there. Because your health is a foundation for everything, and you're making the time to and prioritizing your health so that you can have success in everything. And so, what's today's objectives? We're going to review the 3 fundamental actions of your body in terms of fueling up, driving, and braking. We're going to review that full health assessment and the action plan that you created over the next 90 days. And then also resources for success, because your success is what matters most. It's about taking the action. You can have this great action plan in place, but if you don't actually take the action, you don't actually do the things, it's not going to change your life. All right, so your body is the vehicle in which you experience life every day. And so we need to take good care of our health, our vehicle, just like we do with our cars that take us from point A to point B. But for our body, that means taking us from birth all the way to death. And we would like to push death as far away as we can. And so in order to prolong health, just like with our car, we need to take care of and do our daily maintenance. And so, if we're thinking about our health and the 3 fundamental actions, that's fueling up, driving, and braking. Fueling up is really specifically about, just like when you're in your car, you want to make sure that you have good, high quality fuel, the fuel that your car actually needs. If it is if it runs on unleaded, you're not going to go ahead and put in, like vegetable oil in there. That would be outrageous. You need to make sure that your car has that conversion in order to be able to take the corn oil and turn it into energy. And so the same thing is true for your body. You want to make sure that you're putting in the good quality fuel for yourself. And so back in day 2, we talked about an elimination diet where you really take out all of the foods that are not that are more inflammatory. So I usually suggest starting, if you don't know one, about the Whole30, starting there because it gives you a pretty good framework. And then from there, slowly reintroducing your food so you know exactly how the particular food fuels you and how it will make you feel if it doesn't serve you well. Because sometimes food is delicious and you just want it, and the consequences are worth it. But I want you to know exactly what those consequences are, because that's where the power is at. And so you want to be able to actively choose the food that fuels you best, and especially when you need to perform at your best. If you need to perform at your best, you're not going to go eat maybe like those high carb waffles if it doesn't fuel you well. Especially if you're celiac or you have glucose and gluten. There we go. Gluten intolerance. Then you're not going to want to be eating gluten because that's going to tear your insides up, and we don't want to do that if you have a presentation that you got to do the next day. And so it's really important to know what food is good for your body and how that makes you feel, so that you get to have that choice of how you get to feel the next day. And fueling up also means taking out the trash. By the trash, I mean specifically getting rid of your physical waste. So that means your bowel movements and urination. And so great ways to do that is to make sure you're having daily, easy to pass bowel movements. If you're not, we went over tips on how to help to improve that in day 2. But one of your great habits that you can already start implementing and employ is staying hydrated, making sure you're drinking enough water to ensure, 1, that your poops aren't too hard, and 2, that you're able to flush out any other toxins via your urination. And eating your fiber, because your fiber is so incredibly important for helping to clean out your internal GI tract as well. And it will also help to make sure that your stools are easy to pass. But you got to stay hydrated, because if you have too much fiber and you're not hydrated enough, guess what? You've got something that swells up, but not enough water to make it easy to pass. So you need both. So really the importance, right, is that for fueling up, it's not just about eating the right food. It's also about making sure that you're able to get the bad stuff out. And sometimes that means making sure you put the good stuff in. And the other thing that we don't need is all of those negative emotions and feelings, those negative core beliefs that hold you back. So try and let go of that perfectionism, that anger, the regret, the resentment, and any other emotions and traumas that are holding you back. And that may mean, getting ready for getting some counseling, some therapy, some other tools are available for you as well. And a great resource for that actually is Brene Brown. She does tons and tons of talks and books specifically on perfectionism and kind of getting over that and a lot of the negative beliefs and ideas that our society has ingrained into us. And so I really recommend her videos as well. She's got quite a few TED Talks that are really great as well. All right. So again, so important to put the good stuff in and let the bad stuff go. Take them out because you don't need them anymore. As if you did, your body wouldn't be trying to get rid of it. All right. If there's one thing to know about the human body, it's this. The human body has a ringmaster. This ringmaster controls your digestion, your immunity, your brain, your weight, your health, and even your happiness. This ringmaster is the gut. Nancy Muir said that, and I totally agree. Especially as a naturopathic doctor, I specialize in treating the GI tract, that gut specifically, for this reason. Your digestion is key to all of your health. And so I want to make sure that you're eliminating well and that you're putting good stuff in because that is it's like your digestive tract. You kind of are actually like a donut, right? You have your skin on the outside, but then you also have an internal one. And so that's our GI tract. And that's the way that you experience the rest of the world, but internally. And so we also want to make sure that that has good integrity and that your digestion is in good shape. And that means, again, putting the good stuff in and letting the bad stuff go out. All right. And so once we fuel up in our car, the next thing we do is we drive, right? And so with drive, in terms of our body, it means taking care of your body's driver because it's your mind that allows you to physically do all the things, to think about, to initiate any sort of movement and take action. And so we want to prioritize protein specifically in your meals because it is the foundation for all of your neurotransmitters. So your neurotransmitters are those wonderful chemicals that are in your brain that give you your happiness, your drive, your purpose. And so we want to make sure that you have those building blocks. And that means, again, eating plenty of protein, specifically in the morning, to make sure that your brain has the fuel it needs in order to get going. And so that, again, is the foundation of all your neurotransmitters. Is straight up amino acids, that's protein. And so if you need more information on that, you can refer back to day number 3, where we went over specifically the different neurotransmitters, a big overview on that. I also have more in-depth webinars on specifically neurotransmitters on my website, which is drkrishnaolson.com, and you'll see it in the webinar section there. The other great thing for your mind is to meditate. Meditation is key and so incredibly important because it really does bring down this baseline stress. It allows our mind to close the tabs. And so when you see in that photo, it says my brain has too many tabs open. We need to learn to close those tabs. And the way that we do that is through meditation, to taking breaks. So, when you drive your car, you fuel up usually once, during your trip, but you drive and you brake multiple times throughout that trip. Especially if you're in the city. And so we want to make sure that you're also doing that within your day. And so we are going to prioritize the good habits of meditation and breaking. And so let's go into what you can do to take your frequent breaks. Oh, but before that, we need to talk about the energy generators. So the energy generators in terms of your body is your mitochondria. Again, that's your powerhouse of your cells. It's the one that literally creates all of the power, the ATP. That is the physical energy molecule in your body that allows all of the wonderful actions in your body to happen. So thank you, little mitochondria. We greatly appreciate you. And if you want to increase your mitochondria, your ability to generate more power, both physically and mentally, that means growing more muscles. It is the one actual organ in your body that you can grow and change. That's pretty amazing. So if you want to increase your ability to generate more power, strength training is really important. Doing your things, your exercise on a regular basis in order to gain more muscle mass, because that means accruing more and more mitochondria, and allows you again to have more power and to have more energy, more drive. And then your adrenals. So your adrenals are so important. They're again, the little glands that sit on top of your kidneys, and they are your stress gland. They're the ones that increase your cortisol and your norepinephrine and epinephrine release when you get stressed. And again, your body does not know the difference between physical stress, mental stress, emotional stress. Stress is stress. And your adrenal glands are the ones, when it first recognizes stress, they release and they say, all right, it's time to focus, it's time to survive. So we also want to make sure we take good care of those suckers. And then we got our thyroid. So our thyroid is our little gland right here. It's actually the shape of a beautiful little butterfly. You got two little lobes here and then one that connects right there called the isthmus. Your thyroid has three particular hormones that I care about. TSH, which is thyroid stimulating hormone. That's your brain talking to your thyroid. It's the one, so literally your brain is telling your thyroid, hey, we need more. We need to increase our metabolism, or we need to down regulate it. We need more energy, or all right, we're cool. You can reserve some of that energy. And then the two active hormones are free T3 and free T4. And those are the ones that are actually going to bind to your thyroid to do all of its wonderful actions. And so we want our thyroid in good shape too, because if it's not, that can definitely be slowing you down. Last energy generator in the body is your hormone. Specifically, testosterone is incredibly important in order for increasing the muscle mass and the ability to go. Testosterone is really about generating more muscle mass, creating more red blood cells in order to get more oxygen to the cells. And so it allows you to also do more work. And so you want your hormones in good health as well, because it's part of the whole system, right? And so if you want to increase your energy, your drive, you need to take care of these things as well. And that means to maximize your energy, yeah, you guess it, you got to put high quality fuel in. That's why we fuel up. Why it's so incredibly important is to be able to drive, and to be able to drive further and more efficiently. And so we want to make sure we do that. And yeah, it also means eliminating the crap. This includes your vices. So if you want to increase your energy, you have to get rid of the alcohol, and limit the alcohol, limit the cannabis, limit the processed sugars, because those will increase your inflammation within your system. And when they increase your inflammation, that means that your body is it's got more crap in it, and it's got to process all of that crap before it can even generate energy. So if you limit those, you're already putting yourself in good shape. And then, of course, remember to break. And so breaking, again, is so incredibly important for overall energy. It's good for your mind. It's good for your physical body. It's good for your adrenal glands. It's good for your hormones. It's good for literally everything. So if you get tired, learn to rest, not to quit, because it is all about those pauses, those breaks that allow you to keep going. And so we want to break with a strategic pause. So here again is that image I showed of what happens in your body when we have stress. And again, our body does not know the difference between emotional stress, physical stress, mental stress, emotional stress. It's all the same. The response in your body is still the same response of, I need to survive. I need to downregulate certain organs in order to maximize my ability to survive, to run away, right? That's your fight, flight, or freeze system, your sympathetic nervous system. And so we want to be able to turn that off, because chronic stress is not your friend. They are telling you lies if you're thinking that, oh, stress is my friend. In small amounts, yes, but you do not want chronic stress all the time. Stress is like, all right, I want you in small doses only. And so what happens, right, with the chronic stress is that it will interfere with your weight, your hormones, your adrenal glands will get so tired, they won't be able to produce any more cortisol. They won't be able to tell you to drive, to get going anymore. And it can increase your blood pressure. So it's not great for your heart either. And we need a good heart in order to have a good life. And so we want to make sure that all of those are in good working order by ensuring that we take those important strategic breaks and pauses. And so we want to prioritize taking frequent breaks from your stresses and your worries, because a stress, a worry, even if it's just a thought, that's still a stress on your body, and your body will go into that heightened stress response state, and it will interfere with your digestion, it will interfere with your libido, it will interfere with your mood. And so we want to be able to turn that off. I'm not saying that we have to eliminate stress, because I firmly believe that we can't, especially in our world nowadays, but we definitely can put a pause on it, and that's really what it's all about. In clinic, I will also often tell my patients that I think about stress as like our ability to cope with stress as like a candle. So you have, right, a candle. I don't have one actually in my room, which is actually quite surprising. But if you have like a candle and you let it go, you let it burn for hours and hours on end, the wax starts to get hot. And when the wax gets hot, it will actually melt more of the wax, which means that you will actually get less burn time from that candle because you have left it lit. But if you blow out that candle, you let that wax cool down, even if it's 5 minutes, right? Even with 5 minutes, the wax can cool down pretty significantly, and then you light it back up, you're going to get more burn time. And the longer that you let it cool down, the more burn time you're going to get out of it. And so it's the same kind of thing within your body, where we have our stress, we only have an amount that we can handle if we just let it go unchecked. But if we check it, if we say, okay, we're going to pause this stress response, then you can actually endure more of it longer. And that's really what it's about, because life always throws us stressors, and that's our ability to adapt and to grow, which is great. But again, if we have that chronic stress, if we never put the pause on it, it will break you down. And we're not trying to do that. We want you to live nice, healthy, long lives full of success in all of the areas that you want it to be. And that's why you're here, making your health a priority. So again, kudos to you, because you're still here on day 5. That's pretty great. All right. So we want to put the brakes on stress. That's me with my sweet Delilah girl. She loves cuddles and I love cuddling her. And that is the kind of stuff that actually will slow you down. It puts the brakes on stress. Cuddles, whether it's with an animal or a human being, it actually does help to release those feel good chemicals in your body. And so it does turn that stress response off. It puts you in that rest and digest state. And if you love the cuddles even more, then that's even more beneficial, because you're doing things that you also love. And so yes, doing more things that bring you joy are going to help to allow you to endure more stress over a longer period of time. Exercise your diaphragm is an incredibly important tool for putting the brakes on stress. When we exercise our diaphragm, it utilizes or activates your vagus nerve. So your vagus nerve, again, is directly innervated by your parasympathetic nervous system. That's the rest and digest state. That's the one that I want you more in. And so the way that you can do that, you can literally force yourself into the rest and digest state, into the parasympathetic nervous system response. Literally tell your body, nah, I'm not going to be stressed right now, just by taking some nice deep belly breaths. And just to reiterate how I'd like to do that, or demonstrate more accurately, I'm going to back up here. And so I like one hand on my chest, one hand on my abdomen. And then really what I like to do is focus on just moving my abdomen. So it's going to look a little bit like this. So you can see that really just my abdomen is moving and the hand on the top on my chest is not. And the reason for that is when we are, say we have a tiger and it's chasing us, right? We're pretty freaking stressed. If I have a tiger chasing me, I am sweating. And I'm probably breathing really, really fast and all in my chest in order to make sure that I can get as much oxygen as possible. So guess what? When you breathe with your chest, you're keeping yourself in that stress-rich state. And so we don't want, we want to limit our breathing from our chest, and we want to really utilize breathing from our abdomen using our diaphragm. The more times you do it, the more beneficial. It also will get easier and easier for you to do it. Trust me, it took me literally years to be able to demonstrate during a presentation or in a visit. It took some practice. And so it may take you some practice too, to be able to understand your body in that way and to be able to force yourself to take a break and to pause. I also have another video for how to do the deep belly breathing and kind of going over more of that in depth in my Instagram, in one of my Instagram posts. So you can always go there. My Instagram is just at Dr. Krisha, and you'll see it on there in the video section. And then mindfulness and meditation. So just like I talked about earlier, when we want to increase our energy and improve our mind, mindfulness and meditation is so incredibly important. And as you've probably learned throughout these 5 days, is that I am a huge fan of feeding multiple birds with one seed. And that is what meditation allows, is for you to do that one action, whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day, or a couple times a week. My preference would be daily. And what that's going to do is help to improve your mood. It's going to improve your energy, your focus. It's going to bring down your stress levels. The longer you do it, the more it's going to bring down your baseline stress levels, which means that the things that you find stressful right now may not stress you out as much 10 years down the road meditating. Not to say that you have to, do it for that long to see those benefits, but you'll see the benefits pretty immediately, actually. And some great resources for that's YouTube. They have tons of videos. Calm, Headspace are also really great. And again, there's a bunch of resources online. Definitely utilize them. There's free ones and there's paid ones. You pick what's going to work best for you, because ultimately, again, the most important thing that I want you to get out of this course, or this challenge, is that it's about taking the action. It's about actually committing to your health, to improving your life, and doing the things that are going to improve that. And that means that you could just choose meditation and improve all of those areas, which seems pretty awesome. That's like a win-win-win. All right, and then sleep is so incredibly important. That's my new pup. Biggiepotamus Rex, or Bricks for short. That's what we call her, because she's like a ton of bricks, very freaking dense, but such a cutie. And she's also a great sleeper. I think English Bulldogs just probably are really amazing sleepers, all the ones I've had anyways. And so we want to make sleep a priority, and the quality of your morning. So if you want to have that good energy in the morning, it's determined by the night before. And so sleep hygiene is so incredibly important. And sleep hygiene in this regard means like limiting your screen time. It means making sure that your bed is only for the two things. And if you were listening to me yesterday, you know those two things are sex and sleep, and that is it. And then along with other sleep hygiene, it's also, not eating too late, because if you're full and you're feeling uncomfortable, it's going to be hard for you to fall asleep. Doing your exercise, your movements, in order to make sure that you're not feeling uncomfortable in your body. And the other thing is improving you're making sure that your room is cold and dark, because those two things will definitely keep you up. And then you want to take control of your stress, because stress will make it so that you can't sleep. So your cortisol levels, if you remember from yesterday, when they are high, your melatonin is low, and when your melatonin is high, your cortisol is low. So if your cortisol stays high for a really long time, then it's going to be really hard for you to generate any more melatonin, to produce melatonin, because your body says, no, I need to be alert. I need to be super focused and to be hyper vigilant in order to make sure that I have enough, you know, attention to make sure I don't get eaten by a tiger. And so it's not going to put you to sleep, and you're going to struggle with sleep issues. And so there's also a lot of resources on those webinars specifically for insomnia. So if you have difficulties falling asleep or staying asleep, refer to those. Again, that's at drkrishalolson.com in that webinar section in my VIP library. All right, so please make sleep a priority, because having a good nighttime routine is going to allow you to have a good morning routine and have you feeling energized. So you're not having to snooze. And instead, you can pop up and wake up with the sun if you so choose. All right, so here is that full health assessment. So hopefully at this time, you should have it all filled out in terms of your action plan. And then your ratings as well should be filled out for that 0, because that is your baseline. And then over the next 3 months, you're going to be marking down your ratings in that first month. So next month, come back to it and see how you've done. Like, how have you improved your fuel? So maybe right now you're like, I'm not feeling like my optimal self, because of course you already filled out that section of your optimal, how you would like to feel the best. And say right now you're at a 5, and if next month you're at a 7, good job, that's fantastic. Same thing with the elimination. You want to also make sure that you're just slowly improving, and it may be that over the course of the next 90 days you notice that, oh yep, I need to focus more on my energy, so I'm going to make exercise a priority. And what may happen is that by doing so, maybe you don't do so much of the focus on your elimination, and if that gets a little wonky, then the next month when you come back to your reassessing, that, all right, I need to focus back on this. And so my goal with a full health assessment is really that it's a tool for you to improve your health, to take control of your health in these 3 main areas: the fueling up, the drive, and those pauses, those breaks. And so it's something that the action plan, I hope that you're able to keep handy, because you can always refer to that. And at this point, all I really want you to do is to commit to one habit, whether that's one habit that helps with improve all of them, or the one that you're the weakest in. So maybe right now you're noticing that your sleep is absolutely terrible. You're like, I can't fall asleep. I wake up tired. So that's the one I would want you to focus on. And that's maybe the one that you're like, okay, this is the one that I need the biggest improvement in. So pick action steps from there, maybe 1 or 2, to start implementing tonight, so that you can start noticing those benefits over the long term. Because the thing with daily habits is that they stack up. It's not that you do it one time and then you're done. You need to do it on a regular basis, right? So just like brushing your teeth, if you brush your teeth once in a year, you're not going to notice the benefits of that one time. You're probably not. Your dentist's going to probably be a little appalled. But if you brush your teeth every single day, right, you're going to notice that you get those benefits of less dental decay and less infection and less discomfort and better breath. And so we want to have these habits that we do on a regular basis, because that's where you're going to notice the improvement. Again, it's not that you're going to go from 0 to 100. It's going to come in little baby steps. And the biggest thing really is that you just make one small improvement every single day. And with that, so keep this, again, your full health assessment pretty freaking handy on you, so that you can refer to it when you need those health reminders, and that come back to it on a regular basis, preferably at least a monthly, to then reassess where you're at and how you can keep improving and implementing those other action steps. All right, so your future success is determined by what you do today. So, what I care about is that you are successful. You want to improve your health. I want to help you improve your health too, because I understand that health is the ultimate success, ultimate foundation for all of your success. So, I want to make sure that if you want to improve your health and feeling better, that you're able to do that and take control of that. And there are four elements to guaranteeing your success in every endeavor that you do. One is some sort of structure, right? We need to have some sort of guideline or breakdown, because otherwise, without that structure, there's chaos and it's too overwhelming. And that's also why I gave you that full health assessment, because it gives you a little bit of that structure to be able to see where you're at and where you want to be and how to get there, right? And that's the most important step. That's why the action plan part is the biggest section out of that. And coaching, because sometimes we need to have that outside perspective. I'm actually working with multiple coaches for that very reason. If I want to continue to grow, I understand that I need to be able to reach out to other individuals who can see the bigger picture, see outside of my little small realm that I see, and be able to coach me through that. Or if I have challenges, they make it a whole lot easier to get through, right? So you need a guide, and that's also why you're here, right? You needed to learn a little bit of that knowledge, but the knowledge is not just the important thing. You need that accountability, you need that support, and we need to be able to hold ourselves accountable. So we need other people in order to do that, because especially if you're a parent, you probably noticed that you will do things for other people and take care of other people more than you will yourselves. Right. I've even found myself to do that when I live with my boyfriend right now. But before, when I was just cooking for myself, I was less likely to cook as delicious and healthy, nutritious food as when it's two of us. And so that accountability is so incredibly important, because we need to have that necessity sometimes. And the other thing is the support. Sometimes we need to be heard, and we need to have that supportive hand to be able to help guide us through what the next phase is, because sometimes it's just hard and we need that extra support. And that is exactly why I created the Everyday Health 8-week program. So it's 8 weeks. And with that, it's 8 weeks of fresh content delivered via your email, 3 days a week. It'll be on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. There'll be 4 group coaching calls, because again, accountability is so incredibly important. During those coaching calls, we'll be doing kind of like check-in, see where everyone's at, as well as what are your challenges and how can we find those solutions and make it so that those habits are easier for you to stick to, because habits are hard. It's to get started in the beginning, and then once you get them going, though, it becomes a lot easier. And so that community support to be able to say, oh, you're doing that really well, what are you doing, or what's your nighttime routine, how's that working for you, and then being able to fine tune that together in a community is so incredibly important. You will also get 2 one-on-one coaching calls, because coaching is so incredibly important, and having that individualized time is so beneficial, because maybe you need that little outside perspective and a little bit more of a professional expert to do that for you. And then there's also going to be a health workbook. It actually be based off of my planner that I created, the Rise Shine Enterprise. It's going to be all about health. You'll see that health, a full health in there, as well as some other assessments that I created specifically around improving life success, and making sure that we're continuously improving and striving for more. Because I do think that if you want a full life, you can have it all. It's just going to take a little bit of work. And then there's also going to be bonus live webinars. One particular one that I'm super excited about that's going to be happening later on is spring cooking. It's going to be, how do you cook for the spring? What does that look like? What kind of foods do you want? What are the energetics of spring? And how can you incorporate that into your diet now? How can you eat seasonally? And how can you do it quickly? Because I get it, we're all busy folks. And so that also will be available to you all as well as part of that 8-week program. And it's going to be open enrollment until May 10th. So that's when we're going to get started, is May 10th. And we'll be kicking it off. And that first weekend is going to be just onboarding. And then after that, we're going to get into the good stuff, where we're talking about those the three fundamental actions of your body, working through that, fine tuning it together, so that you have a really good action plan that is not just a written down action plan, but one that you're actually implementing and able to do. Because again, I care about the plan, the action that you're able to do. Because as a physician, what I've learned over these years is that even if I come up with the most wonderful treatment plan, and I'm like, that's going to cure it, but my patient doesn't do it, it doesn't matter, because then what, right, it's like, okay, we need to find something that's actually going to work for you so that you can start implementing it, because it really comes down to taking those steps, in that fast action. And so if you want that fast action, and improving your everyday health, this is exactly why I created this program. So who is this not for? So it's not going to be for those who have it all figured out, because if you have it all figured out, you don't need me coaching you. You already got it all done. It's also for those, not for those who believe change can come without change, because guess what? If you want to change, if you want to see something different, you got to do something different. Albert Einstein said that insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. So if you want to have a different outcome from what you're currently experiencing in your life, you need to do something different. And it's also not for those who are not willing to invest in themselves or on their way to success, because this is an investment in your health. And that means it's going to take time, it's going to take commitment, it's going to take work. So then who is it for? It's for those who want more out of life. If you want to be able to be physically better, to be able to go on those hikes, to be able to enjoy your life, to feel happier, to be able to go and do all of to make your dreams a reality. Your body, your physical body, is your tool, your ability, your vehicle in order to do that. And you need to keep your vehicle in really good shape. And that means taking care of your body. You also need to be willing to grow, because I am going to challenge you. That's my job as your coach, as looking out for your health. You need to also be willing to lift others and share knowledge, because this is a group coaching program. So we're going to do it in community, because community is so incredibly important, especially now during our pandemic, where there is a lack of community. And so we need human interaction. We are pack animals, just like dogs, and we need other humans in order to continue to grow. And you do need to be willing to invest time and resources on your health, because that's what it's going to take. And so this 8 everyday health program, it's over $1,200 in value, but I am giving it all to you for $497 to invest in improving your health. And that includes all of those wonderful things, the 8 weeks of really high structured information, those emails. It will be a video, as well as some handouts, and the workbook will come through there as well, for you to print out. And really about taking action. And then we'll have the group coaching calls every 2 weeks in order to talk about and come up with solutions and troubleshoot for those 3 main areas as well. And again, open enrollment is until May 10th. If you're interested, you can schedule a 15-minute call to make sure that it's right for you, because I want to make sure that you're getting what you expect, and to make sure that it's good for you. And so the way that you can do that is actually through my Calendly link, which is calendly.com/Dr. Krisha. And there you'll see that 15-minute free discovery call, and we can talk all about whether or not this program would be good fit for you. Because again, I want to make sure that I'm offering the best value for you. And if this happens not to be it, I'm going to tell you. With that, hope you have a great rest of your day. I'm going to